Hello, everyone. Welcome to another BRAP. It is Friday. What is it? December 12th. I look at the date. I forgot what date it is. Want to welcome guests this evening. We have with us from the western part of the U.S. We have Nate with us. What's going on, Nate? And by the way, I should say the best gaming setup, room, whatever you want to call it, man cave, entertainment arena, PC setup, RGBs in the business. We got Nate with us. What's going on, Nate? All right, maybe Nate stepped away. All right, we'll get back to Nate. We have with us from down south. And I'm not talking about the southern part of the United States. I'm talking about the southern hemisphere of planet Earth. And it's great seeing it because that means that humanity has lived to see another day. We have Falky with us. What's going on, Falky?
Hey, yeah, lovely to be here. Saturday looks amazing. It's a little overcast. We should get some storms later this afternoon, but a welcome bit of rain. And yeah, it's a lovely mild, 25 degrees Celsius. So whatever that works out to be in
I don't
Fahrenheit
know.
for
It's
those up
warm.
north.
It's warm.
It's nice. It's a pleasant day with a lovely gentle breeze. It's going to be a
This is a
crackingly good
pleasant
day.
day. Let me ask you something, Falky. You guys are in the middle of spring now, right? Or just
No,
starting
we
spring?
just starting summer actually.
Oh, just starting summer. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
20. So sorry, it's 77 degrees Fahrenheit for those who work the old scale. Yeah, so our summer runs December through February, and yeah, kids are going on school holidays for the summer break. Mine's already been on school holidays for a week, and everyone's getting ready for Christmas, which is less than 2 weeks away.
So that's also so in Australia, the kids then have summer break during at the same time period as the holidays, as Christmas, right?
Yeah, yep,
That's awesome.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
we run. So our school
we don't
year
have that
runs.
luxury.
No, you guys get time off in winter when you can't go anywhere.
That's true.
We got so our school year runs from pretty much the end of January to the sort of the early December. And then they have 6 or 8 weeks off depending on which state and which schools they go to. Over summer, because it's too hot to sit kids in classrooms when it's 40 plus degree heat, which is 104 Fahrenheit plus. Yeah. So we're settling in for a bit of leisure time in a couple of weeks. So it'll be good.
Gotcha.
Hopefully it's not
No,
too cold up there for you guys.
I know where Nate is. It's not cold, but where I'm at, it's pretty cold right now. We're probably getting some snow. I think chance of snow tomorrow night, tomorrow night into early Sunday morning.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, we'll see. Not a lot of snow though. Probably about maybe an inch, most maybe two.
Good weather for penguins, mate.
Exactly. So I'm not a fan. When I was younger, I was a fan of it, but now that I'm older, I'm like that. You know what? It's bad for it. It makes my bones ache, my body's ache. I don't like it. I need to move. Trying to move to warmer weather, but that's probably not happening. So
nice.
But Falky, so well, actually, I want to give a big shout out to everyone that's watching here in the live chat. Do me a favor, hit that like button and please retweet the show. Let me know we're live or share it on your favorite social media platform. I'm going to get into we actually really some big breaking news over at Xbox. So you have pretty big leadership change over there. We'll talk about that here in just a bit. But also, last night was the 2025 Game Awards show, and want to get the panel's thoughts on it. Some big game announcements at the award show yesterday. I didn't get the chance to watch all of it. I had some interruptions in between of some of the announcements, some of the award presentations, but what I did catch was okay. I don't know. I have some thoughts about the award show that we'll get into here in just a bit, but obviously, it looks like based on what they showed at the Game Awards show, it does look like 2026 is going to be another stacked year for gaming, right? Looks like there's going to be a lot of games coming out. Some of those may be delayed at some point, but nevertheless, it looks like 2026 looks pretty good in my opinion. But I do want to play something here What's going on, Nate? Glad you could join us. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. Glad to be here.
yeah, and Nate, by the way, you're retooling your PC, right? Swapping out
Yeah,
the Intel CPU for AMD.
yeah. I'm going to the 9800 X3D. Probably actually gonna happen tomorrow. I got
Oh,
most of
nice.
the. I
Okay.
pretty much got. Well, I got all of everything I need, so I'm good to go. It's my PC is just a little more complicated because I use it for so many things, and when you swap a motherboard, motherboard CPU, you typically need to reformat at least the C
Okay.
drive. So I just got to be real careful, make sure I got all my stuff where I need it, so everything's backed up. So honestly, that takes longer than reconfiguring and like rebuilding it. So yeah, it's gonna be a process, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I got I got an amazing looking AIO. I can't wait uh, to show off the new build. It's gonna look real good. Finally getting rid of Asus as well because they've been a terrible, terrible company lately. So I'm glad to get them out of my build.
Oh, wow.
Can
Okay.
can I just request a moment's silence for an eight's left kidney that he would have had to have given up to buy all those AMD parts?
Yeah, man. I thankfully I got everything I needed at reasonable cost. Actually, most of it below cost. So like the new
Nice.
motherboard was like $400, but it's not. I got it for like 230, and
Oh,
then
nice.
yeah, I got the CPU's normally over five. I got it for like 434. So yeah, I did really good. And then shout out to the friend of the panel, Logic, for you know slided me some RAM that he had on the side.
Ooh,
So I appreciate that because that man just sent me basically a check, with that RAM. So, he said it was sitting around. So I said, look, I'll give it a good home.
it's like
So,
having a gold bar sitting around in your bedroom, isn't it? The way
right?
some RAM prices are at the moment.
Exactly. I told somebody, I was like, man, my portfolio just went up,
You
I
need
got that RAM.
they got that RAM. Yeah. I mean, RAM is I mean, it's funny. I think you created that. Was it you that created that GIF innate with the RAM chain
Yeah,
that was
yeah. So I
embedded?
got,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the one with the VVS diamonds in it.
Yeah. So RAM is VBS now. Okay.
Gee.
Wow. He said
Yeah,
VBS diamonds. That is funny.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
That just enough clarity. You know what I'm saying? Make sure it shines.
Uh, exactly. Exactly. Well, I do want to get to the award show here because that was last night, and the award show opened up with this trailer here, and I have some thoughts about this trailer and the last trailer they showed at the Game Awards show. But let me play this real quick. All right, I gotta say that was a hell of a way to open up the show. But I will say
Absolutely.
this: I thought they should have kept that trailer for the last, like, as the last reveal. I watching this, I was like, okay, this is Star Wars, especially like when looks that's I don't know. I'm assuming that's the protagonist of the game. Is she's exiting the ship, going down that ramp. Kind of had that Star Wars walk. I don't know if that even makes sense to anyone. Like this, there's a particular like movement,
No,
I guess.
I
Like
agree. It does have
you,
a
you,
certain. It has a certain. Star Wars has like its own swag. Like you know
yes,
it when you see it. Yeah.
yeah, like
And
the way the characters walk, and as she's exiting that ship, she has that like that Star Wars swag to her, right? That movement, and then obviously I think the big giveaway for me was you could see like the steam coming out right from the bottom of the ramp there, and I was like, yeah, this is Star Wars. And then there's that robot. I don't know if you saw that robot scanning. That robot looks like the robot from Rogue One, the movie Rogue One. If you've watched that. Um, but and then obviously, I mean the you hear the sound of the lightsaber and the blue, illumination of her face. As a Star Wars fan, I got to say, Valky, I'm excited. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Obviously, we got the couple years ago. I think this is 2021, maybe it was 4 years ago. We did get the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake tease at the PlayStation event. Although I think that game may be in limbo. I don't know what's happening with that remake. Um,
so,
but
so to
yeah,
that point, they actually just reiterated that Saber is still working on it, and they've added
okay,
another team that they're
that's
working with
okay.
on it. So they've actually bolstered the team. So yeah, it's going well from the last thing they put out, and that was only like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah, I got to say I'm excited for the Knights of the Old Republic KOTOR remake, and now this the Fate of the Old Republic, and what got me really excited too is to see Casey Hudson as director. Now, for those of you who don't know who Casey Hudson is, former BioWare, he directed Knights of the Old Republic, and so he also directed, unfortunately, Anthem, which didn't do well. Wasn't a game that performed well for BioWare. I think BioWare, since that game, hasn't been the same. So, yeah, I thought this was a huge announcement at the Game Awards show. I just didn't really care for the timing of it. Looking back at it and how they ended the show, I thought this should have been the trailer that ended the Game Awards show. But I don't know. Nate, what did you think about the trailer?
Yeah, no, I mean, I loved it. It like you said, the big thing for me, I'm kind of a little opposite. Like I love sci-fi, but I'm not a big Star Wars fan. But I actually really love a lot of the Star Wars games. So I'm still very excited for this. If anything, the games are probably the thing in Star Wars that I like the most. So seeing this, and then like you said, seeing Casey Hudson was a big confidence booster for me on this, confidence in how I see it, and I could feel free to get excited. Like this is one of the guys when he's in charge. BioWare created some of my favorite titles, including Mass Effect. So like that alone, that pedigree behind it, knowing that he not only has been in charge of teams like that, he knows how to pick them, knows how to put together these teams, knows how to run these teams and create something incredible and bring something incredible out of that process. So I mean, I'm excited to see where they go with it. Um, I'm hoping when we see some of the stuff that's there. I was hoping it was an RPG though. That was the only thing that kind of set me back when I saw action adventure. But as you know, nowadays almost everything has some sort of RPG elements in it. So my hope is that they definitely still bring some sort of RPG elements to it, some upgrade systems, some leveling perhaps, and some other things, especially different equipment, lightsaber. I mean, the sky's the limit, right? You could go crazy with some of this stuff. And honestly, I'm really interested in the story because the stories in a lot of the games have also been some of my favorites. As they tend to kind of explore what's not talked about or the darker side of things that go on in Star Wars that I actually find cooler than a lot of the main stories that are told. So yeah, man, I'm extremely excited. I thought it was a great showing, and I do agree with you that it should have been last because that thing that he showed last, good lord.
Yeah, I almost feel like that game in the way, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that game. I'm referring to it as that game. We'll get back to that because I think the way they framed that game, the
Right?
wording they use, I'm like, oh no, now you just set yourself up, right? You set these like these godlike expectations for this game, and I just yeah, I don't know.
That's-
Here down under says time to reread my Sith Bible. Look, one thing I liked about Kotar was the exploration of the Sith and actually going to a Sith academy. If you remember that, if anyone's played Kotar,
I do.
and how you could kind of your character appearance would be influenced by how far you swayed in either side of the Force. So, and that's based on your choices.
Absolutely.
Falky, are you a Star Wars fan, Falky? I don't know if we've ever had this conversation.
Oh,
All the years I've known you.
I was always drawn more to the Indiana Jones than I was to Star Wars. However, I like Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6, but after that I never really got into the more modern stuff. I haven't played a Star Wars game since the one that had the pod races in back on the PS1 on the PS2 or whatever it was. So tempted a few times. But yeah, I shouldn't say that. I played KOTOR when it was on Xbox, but I haven't played any since then, really. So
Yeah, I don't think, it's funny with the Star Wars games. I don't trying to think the last good Star Wars game that I played was what was I'm trying to think. It was Star Wars. It was the one where you played as Darth Vader's apprentice. What Star Wars game? What Star Wars game was that? That was oh, I'm drawing a blank now. Well, I did play actually I say the last Star Wars game that I really enjoyed was Vader Immortal in VR. I thought that was really cool. Like literally like Darth Vader walks into the holding cell you're in and he's standing right next to you and he's just towering over you. That was really cool. I really like that game. Trying to think what the hell. Oh, The Force Unleashed. That was probably the last the protagonist in that was Starkiller. So that's probably the last Star Wars game that I really enjoyed. Like console Star Wars game that I really enjoyed. But that came out
just
during the 360 generation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Look,
that's a while back.
it'll be an interesting perspective because we still got that third one from EA. Was EA making them or Ubisoft? Shit, I can't remember now. Who made the two with the red-headed guy in it recently?
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you Cal Estes is the protagonist. Actually,
Yeah.
so I lied. Force Unleashed is not the more recent Star Wars game. It's Star Wars Jedi. What is it? Star Wars. What the hell's it called? I gotta look this up. Jedi. Is it Jedi Fallen Order? Was the first one? Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. And
Yeah,
I also played Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, so there's a third one of those supposedly coming out. It'll be interesting if it gets anywhere near this one. But then you got KOTOR remake coming as well. And they're still mucking around this is in TV land, and I think it's some poor decisions going on there. But there's still a lot going on with Star Wars as a entertainment medium. And I hope they don't get the games too close together. But this looks so much better than what the other studio is making. But it's totally different aspect, I think. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes.
Yeah, I'm looking up. I know Amy Hennig was working on a Star Wars game. I think got canceled.
Yeah, from what I remember, it got canceled.
Yeah, the one at Skydance, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was
only recently, like 3 or 4 months ago, it got knocked on the head, didn't it?
No, I think it's longer than that. Then there were Star Wars Outlaws. That's one of the more recent ones too. I didn't play Star Wars Outlaws. That came out last year. That was an Ubisoft game, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I would. The only way I'd play that is really picking it up on sale. I know 2 of the people on my podcast really enjoyed it, and they got the platinum. I did pick it up day one myself. It's not that I don't enjoy it. but they made some really weird decisions in overly trying to make certain gameplay mechanics unique. Um, where I don't know if you played a game where the unlocks are tied behind you doing specific things, like that you may not do, and then you have to do them when you're on that specific thing. So like one thing might be like, rapidly kill 5 stormtroopers with low health. It's like what? Like, why would you lock a skill behind that? Like so they made some weird decisions that way, but it was still a solid game. The last one, like you were talking about when you're going through them, that I really enjoyed, was two. Was it part two of? I don't know. I can't remember the one with the redhead guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jedi Survivor.
Survivor. Yeah,
Mm.
that one. So the second one for that was really good. Once they finally got the performance issues out of the way, because if you remember the debacle with that is they
Yeah,
created the
performances.
game with RTX forced on, so they couldn't turn the ray tracing off until like months of work. Yeah, it was wild,
uh,
man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the other one is Quantic Dreams also working on a Star Wars game, Star Wars Eclipse. Survivor second, Fallen Orders first. But Quantic Dreams also working on a Star Wars game too. So I've actually liked. I know you mentioned the episodes Falky 4, 5, 6. I've actually enjoyed the more recent Star Wars games a bit more than the movies.
yeah.
Um, and even some
I
of the Disney spin-offs. Yeah,
I thought Rogue One was good for as a sort of a sideline movie, and I thought, um, it's that Andor wasn't too bad. It just doesn't have the grunt that they used to have back in the 70s and 80s, those sort of movies. But they're working with a different environment, I guess. But some of the more recent games as well, they just feel like a reskin of something you've done before. Um, for the few little demos that I've played, yeah, I don't know. It sort of settles on a theme though of what the Game Awards was like. It felt like the reboot and remake and reboot awards, or like there's so many studios or so many IP owners were coming out with multiple. I mean, Lucas Films and Lucas Arts had like 4 or 5 new games coming in the next 2 years based on their IP, and this was just one of them. Um, it was quite a curious thing. So anyway, I was just doing some research while you guys were chatting. Amy Hennig is still working on a Star Wars, an untitled Star Wars game after the 1313 and EA Visceral Arts cancellation in 2017 or 2018. But this one's not due until after the Marvel's 1943 Rise of Hydra game comes out, which is the one that got delayed recently. So she's still working on one.
okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Here down there is asking, is Quantic Dream not cooked? I don't know. I haven't been following the Quantic Dream. I know there was that game, but I haven't been following that. It's kind of been
Right.
radio silent.
Quantic Dreams founder and boss was in hot water over some inappropriateness, but
I remember
most
that. Yeah.
most of them are. But then instead of them, they didn't get bought out by someone. They decided to get funded by one of the Chinese giants, and so that's how they've managed to keep going, so to speak.
Was it? I wonder if it was like Tencent or
It was
NetEase
either
or something.
Tencent or
Yeah.
NetEase or someone like that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
they
Yep.
have continued. But it's still in the works. But usually is radio silence for 6 or 12 months, and then they'll stick their heads up again and say, "Hey, don't forget we're here."
Let me grab this super chat from Bulbur Country with a $10 super chat. Says 33. He's talking about Expedition 33. Has the best story, but some of the categories it won. We can all enjoy the game, but best action adventure. You can't surf a coffin in DS2. You can surf a coffin in DS2. The President's Performance is one of the best remixes. Yeah, I played Death Stranding 2, but yeah, the coffin surfing, not my cup of tea. I still think Expedition 33 is one of the best games I've played this generation. And my game of the year, second of that would be Ghost of Yote, which I talked about on the show. So thank you for that super chat, Bulbor. Yeah, I think Falky, there was definitely some announcements that were sequels to games. Some of the newer stuff I thought were from smaller studios. There was we did see Resident Evil Requiem. There was a nice surprise to Resident Evil Requiem, which I'll get to in a bit. But I do want to play another trailer here, which got me excited too.
Do you feel it? Something is coming. An intrusive pattern. Of staggering power. Reshaping reality as we know it. Everything we tried to keep inside eventually worms its way out. You must have had good reasons. But we were not prepared. For what would follow.
Pace yourself. It's gonna get weirder.
All right, gentlemen, what did you think of the Control, the reveal to the sequel to Control?
I mean, I loved it. I mean, I thought it looked amazing. It took a long time for me to play the first one, until Morgan basically forced me to play further than meeting the janitor. Uh, um, yeah, I was just like, man, I just don't want to get into it. I was like, I'm not really into horror. Like, I just had every reservation about the game. The map did still drive me crazy in the first one.
Yeah, so map is I agree with you there.
Insane. So I got lost a lot, but I did really enjoy it, and this just looks like a massive step up. Switching up the protagonist, the wording and everything in the trailer. That the sibling has gone rogue. Like, I mean, that you get to play like pretty much the most powerful being It looks like they emphasize the glass breaking outward of the facility, so it looks like the things that go bump in the night got out. So a bunch of those artifacts got out. So now you're out in the open world and going through all this craziness that's going on. Um, Man, it just looks incredible. Like the hand to hand combat, the improvise looks what looks like improvised weapons, the way he just kind of summons the hammer towards him and builds it out of the environment. They just they surprised me. That was probably one of my biggest surprises, if not the biggest surprise of the show, and it just looked incredible. So, I mean, I cannot wait to get my hands on that and uh, finish my run through Control One, so I can definitely make sure I get that full story.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought it looked great. Remedy's such a talented developer. It's interesting. Like when I played the first Control, I thought there was some elements. If you played Quantum, what was it, Quantum Break? Some of the movement. This actually seems to have, if I remember correctly, Nate. This one looks like it has more. What is it? What's the? I can't remember. It's Friday and I'm fucking tired. What's the name? What kind of I'm trying to think of the combat. This is more like melee combat. I think
Yeah,
from what I
it
remember
is.
compared to Control. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it,
Control's a
some of
lot
the
more
movement.
with her different guns and
Yes.
just things of that nature. So yeah, this is quite different.
Yeah, yeah, and some of I would say the puzzle platforming and like some of the melee combat, which seems midair. Some of the parry, the sliding, dodging, kind of reminds me of Quantum Break a little bit. But yeah, I think this game looks really, 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 really cool. Just again, Remedy, big fan. It's one of the more talented, creatively speaking, studios in the industry, in my opinion. Falky, what did you think of the trailer? Is this something
I
you
think they
think you
took.
could get into, or?
Well, it took a very long time to get to the point, didn't it? um, I wasn't sure. Look, aside from it looking amazing, at one point there I was like, is this the the blending between real life and um, in game? I'm like, oh, is this OD from Kojima? I'm like, oh, no, it doesn't seem quirky enough for him. I was like, it seems like a psychological thriller slash with horror elements. And then I saw the weaponry. I'm like, what on earth is this thing? I thought, oh, it might be some random mix up between a one of those new Chinese made games and something else. And it popped up and said Control. And I went, okay. Well, that seems to be about right. It's some kind of mind bending whatever's going on. But yeah, wouldn't say it's reached out and grabbed me, but it was certainly a nice surprise to see it. Um, yeah, I thought it was odd though, the amount of love that Keeley gives to Sam on anything else to do with um, the Alan Wake or Control or anything else in the past, and he didn't mention his name once. So that and that's pretty sad when that's the thing that stuck out the most about it to me. So yeah, it probably gives you a good gauge of my interest in it. But it looked amazing. It
Yeah,
looked
it is.
amazing.
Yeah,
But
it absolutely does. Yeah,
um, I just yeah for those that have played Control and love Control, I'm sure you're going to love this. But it's going to be very different, particularly with the combat. I just yeah.
I always refer to you as the new director. So
yeah.
you were the
So
new director of the company, and now everything's gotten out.
yeah, so and that's kind of like what's happening now. That's like to Falky's point. You have this some of this psychological paranormal thriller, and yeah, I mean I think it looks cool. I played Control. I didn't finish it. I don't know. My time's been so
You're
limited right
literally
now.
you're literally in the same boat as me. I got really really far. I'm pretty sure I'm probably like less than 10 hours from beating it, and I think something else came out or something or another, and like you said, it's one of those games where you are neck deep in it and you have to travel back and forth all around the map. And if you tried to go back while you were, that deep into the game, it'd probably be pretty tough. So I get you debating, like, do I want to go back? So I definitely get you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to go through all of the announcements here. I mean, there was quite a few announcements. Obviously we talked about. I don't know. And Nate, should I play the Divinity reveal trailer? Because that was now we know what the statue is. Remember last week we speculated it was Soros,
did.
and then someone had mentioned, I think it leaked, that Larian Studios had filed a trademark for a Divinity game, and so now we know what the weird statue is. I don't know if I want to play. You know what? I'm going to play this.
It's a crazy trailer.
Yeah, I think we should play this trailer because
go for it.
There's a particular scene. I don't know if you caught it, Nate.
There's one or two particular scenes.
I'm like, did I just? And I was talking to Detective Seeds on Twitter, and he's like, "Was such and such?" I'm like, "Yep, yeah, you saw that. That's correct." Let me go ahead and play this trailer right now. Hold on, give me just a second here. And by the way, I do want to warn: this is for adult audiences only, because this is a bit of a graphic trailer, violence, and sexual in nature. Give me a sec here. Lot of gluttony in that trailer. All right, give me a second here.
Yeah, I actually thought the trailer was definitely felt inspired by like the 7 Deadly Sins. Like,
you know what? That is funny that you say that, because I was thinking, that's why I used the word glut. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, look at the celebration, the vanity, right?
Yeah.
The cruelness,
there was all of it, the murder,
all of it. Yeah.
At some point, some people are just kind of taking things from others, almost like, stealing, the debauchery, it was going crazy. I was like, yeah, this definitely seems like it was put together based on the 7 Deadly Sins.
All right, let me play this trailer. I do need to play this because it was By the way, does anyone think this is going to be actual gameplay footage? I know this is in engine, what they said. Maybe not. I forget what they said.
I think it'll look very, very good. Not particularly this, because you're not going to get this angle, right? Like when you think about how the games are played, it's very much like Baldur's Gate. So you will get a lot of detail. I think they're going to pull a lot out with this new project with Divinity Original Sin 3. But yeah, I don't think it'll quite look exactly like this. They usually scale back a little bit, but also because, like I said, you're playing from a considerably different angle. So I think that's probably the main thing. But I think this is probably gonna be their most graphical by far.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely a step up. With Baldur's Gate 3, and I think you're just gonna get it again from them. The team just seems to keep raising the bar. So
Baldur's Gate 3 was so good. All right, let me just play the trailer here. I agree with you 110%. Look at the debauchery here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The gluttony, right?
Told you. And then, like I said, the thievery just happened. So, not stealing, but they're, essentially murdering this person. Like all the stuff that's happening in this is definitely, it just looks like a celebration of like the 7 Deadly Sins.
It makes sense though, because they had the first one was Divinity Original Sin, then they had Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yes.
And if the original sin is the murder, then the next logical steps is
Exactly.
the original sin was the murder. Murder is one of the original sins, and so you go for the next next 7 deadly sins would be the next ones in order, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's very fitting for the theme being the seven deadly sins, given the game. And if anybody has played them, you guys will definitely understand. Like the games get really dark. There's some stuff that goes on with kind of like the people who are capable of sorcery in the world versus basically everyone else and all these other things, and basically treating you like an outcast and all these other things. So yeah, these games are incredible. To emphasize for a lot of people, if there were some inhibitors in Baldur's Gate 3 for some people that have like the D&D mechanics, this Divinity Original Sin is a lot more freer in that regard. Like they don't have all the trips and all the other like D&D mechanics. So it's just pure CRPG, and I think a lot of people, when you finally get a chance to see it.
I'm gonna finish playing the trailer here. Yeah, that's got to be that trailer and the Star Wars trailer are my two favorite trailers of the Game Award show. And Nate, I don't know if you saw what I saw.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it too, Falky.
Yeah.
There is some shenanigans happening in that cutscene.
Yeah, there are.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Is this?
Yeah,
this
I guess to
so-
clarify, Corey also stated that I guess this is in tandem with the Original Sin, so they're related, but Divinity is the other franchise within it. So one is called Divinity Original Sin, and then the other one is just Divinity. And I guess that's what this one is Divinity,
Yep.
not the Original Sin part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I think they were
Yeah, of course,
definitely
yeah.
they were definitely showcasing the sins, regardless of if they're gonna put the subtext for Original Sin on it. Like they were all in that trailer.
Wasn't talking about some shenanigans? Wasn't there some controversial shenanigans in Baldur's Gate 3 that Larian put in there?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There was some of the,
Some-
some of the love interests, right? Yeah. Some of that was very, very revealing at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's certainly. I mean, you know, take it from it's gonna be a great game if it's just in the mechanics and the vision and all the rest of it. The story looks quite interesting and compelling, and if it does take that pathway along the original sin to seven sins and all that sort of stuff, there is an awfully big scope that they can play around with in that story. And I know it's not going to be a small game because they don't make small games. So I'm thinking, give us another look at it in 12 months' time and give us a launch date, and we'll go from there. But it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I think, Falcon, to your point, I mean, this is going to be a game that's going to probably, I would imagine someone's going to probably spend maybe a couple hundred hours in this game, like I did with, I mean, I probably spent, well, I think I probably, I forget how many. I know in total I put in about 400 hours, multiple playthroughs of Baldur's Gate 3. So, but I expect this game to be like most Larian games to be pretty large in breadth and scope. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more. I can't wait.
Interesting. It is very interesting.
Are you watching it again, Falky?
I'm excited for it.
No, I'm just making the statement about the trailer and the game and whatnot. They've got a pedigree. They know what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Look,
Oh yeah, they definitely know.
the issue was always going to be for me. The issue was always going to be with the success of Baldur's Gate 3, and then there was a whiff, like the slightest perfume of arrogance after they got all the awards for Baldur's Gate 3, and they made the acceptance speech and they stood up there and they prattled on about how big companies need to get out of gaming. I was like, oh, be careful what you wish for, because if your next game goes tits up, you're done. You're going to be going hat in hand to someone and asking for a lot of money. And it's probably going to be one of three, two from China and one from the Middle East, because no one else is going to touch you because you're a loose cannon when it comes to public appearances. And I think the people over at Larian Shiros are brilliant. I really do. It's just an observation. And I don't mean any harm by it. It's none intended, but there was always this risk of if you're gonna you got to put your money where your mouth is and talk, walk the walk, talk the talk. That trailer is certainly showing elements of, these guys are going to be fine. They're going to smash this out of the park. And I know it's just a CGI trailer, but the premise and the scope that they can go through with that kind of game, they've already got the systems and the setups and everything in place to make it an absolute smasher. Like there's not an awful lot that they would have to do to get it to work well. There's a fair bit of work to make it a masterpiece, but they would have to really move away from what they're good at doing. So kudos to them.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, T-Rock. I see T-Rock here with it's exactly T-Rock what we're talking about. So again, I this one in my wish list, and one of the games I'm definitely looking forward to. We did get some other announcements. Speaking of remakes, Tomb Raider: Legacy of Atlantis. This is the full remake of Lara's original 1996 adventure. We also got a new Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider Catalyst.
If I may, I'm sorry, I need to interrupt.
Yeah.
Full remake. I think we're only half a cup remake, if I may just put that out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not overly excited about the Tomb Raider franchise. I was like, oh, this is nice. I guess it's great. I mean, Lara's an iconic character, so it's great. Great to see her back. But again, I not something I probably will play.
Us old buggers, I tell you, it's horrible when they wheel out something that was iconic at the time and they slap remake from the ground up on it, and then they shortcut on so many of the things that made it what it was back then. It feels like it's just been what I saw. It sort of said to me, "Oh, it's kind of following the broader plot line of the first game, but we're going to make the puzzles easier to deal with, and we're going to make the dinosaur less, um, jump scare, and we're going to make her easier to control and the better weaponry, and we're just going to sort of make it an easier game to play." Because being brutally honest, the first two Tomb Raider games on the original consoles were not easy games to play. Angry Man shakes fist at cloud moment for me. Sorry, but it irks me when they do this. It really does.
Some of the other games that were announced. We did get a release date for 9th of next year. I'm actually really excited for Phantom Blade Zero. I thought it looked pretty good. What do you? And Nate, as someone who is a fan of Souls games, what do you think of Phantom Blade Zero?
As someone who's a fan of Souls games, nah, I'm not a fan of Souls games, but I do think Phantom Blade Zero looks really good.
Wait, I thought you did like Souls games. No,
nah, that's slow mo.
all right, maybe okay. My apologies, then, good sir.
Nah, you're good. But no, I think it looks really good, and I'm still looking forward to it because I've actually followed this game pretty closely, and the actual director in charge of the game actually stated, I know, basically people might get that look or that feel, but it's not. They're going very much for this action RPG more type flow for the game, and it's not a Souls game. So I'm actually really loving the combat and everything I've seen from it. Like I said, I watched the behind the scenes when they invited a bunch of content creators and other developers, even including Sandfall. Sandfall went over to meet them as well during that time frame, and everybody got their hands on, got to play the game, go to the studio, really check out the game. So they sound really confident in it. Sounds like something they've really wanted to do for a long time. And of course, with the boom there in China, with game development, they got the opportunity. And I'm excited for what they're going to do with this upcoming title. Like, a lot of the martial arts and mocap that went into it is incredible. And I mean, I can't wait to get my hands on it and play it. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, what about you, Falky? Is this game on your radar or a pass?
Oh, I'm all for it. I absolutely love these types of games. But when I say these types of games, I'm horrible at Souls games. The Souls games, I have no patience. I like to button spam, and I suck at timing for parries. And I look, hands up, I these games I'm good at, these games I'm not. But these types of games, so like Black Myth Wukong and this Phantom Blade Zero, the ones that have got the different fighting styles where there is an element of block, parry, dodge that feeds in with the combat, but you've got flexibility in how to deploy it. So if you want to fire in and just go ballistic and just swing the blade or whatever the weapon is, you can, and then you can use the block and parry and dodge to get out of trouble if you find yourself in trouble, as opposed to needing to parry stuff to be able to land attacks, like in Bloodborne or Demon Souls, or even like that Lies of P game where it's very heavily reliant on the parry to be able to beat enemies. So this one doesn't look like that is the case. This one looks like it's part of the broader spectrum of combat. So, but the premise of the storyline is quite intriguing. Anything to do with revenge, I'm all for it. So, yeah. This one's definitely on my radar.
Yeah, no, this game I haven't been following this game as long as probably like Slow-Mo or or you and Nate, but no, it's definitely I was happy to see that we finally got a release date for this. So we also got a release date for the game that we talked about last week, and it was Soros, which is going to be coming out April 30th of next year. So I have 2 games I'm definitely picking up, unless of course Phantom Blade Zero bombs terribly in the on the Metacritic score. If it's like a 5 or 6, I won't play it. But anyhow, but no, I mean, there's definitely 2 games that I'm looking forward to that have release dates in those 2 games. And I thought Soros looked incredible, by the way.
Soros did look good. Like I said, I'll probably watch somebody play it. I'm probably not going to pick it up, only because, like I said, I wasn't a fan of Returnal. I'm not a bullet hell person, but I'll definitely watch somebody play it.
Yeah. We also got to look at Lord. Speaking of Souls-like games, we got to get look at Lords of the Fallen 2. I thought that looked pretty good. Good.
It did look pretty good.
Yeah,
I know somebody who was a fan of those though, and said that they kind of felt generic as far as Souls games go. So hopefully they, I know the revamp of the other one they did had a much better reception. And I mean, they're pushing for this next one, so hopefully they put some more of that sauce, more of the good stuff on this one, and it really stands out because you need your own kind of flavor in the Souls area at this point, right? Like Eliza P, that kind of had its own thing going to really kind of stand out. So,
well, they called it's a bit of a cop out to call something a watered down Souls game when Souls like means it's like a Souls game. It doesn't mean it is a Souls game. If that's
talking about the direction, like what I mean, like it's like it, because like Liza P is steampunk and all this other craziness, right? Like the world is different and that you're in, and then she's like that was one of her favorite games, and she's a big Souls person, and then she had played Bloodborne prior, and then it was like in between was then Lords of the Fallen, which I guess was like she just felt like certain aspects of it weren't. It felt like they were just relying too much on being relatable directly to Souls and not necessarily its own game, so to speak.
That's fair. That's fair. So setting and plot and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully they do. Like I said, I mean, I'm not looking forward to it because I'm not a Souls person. But hopefully, from what I heard about that revamp, that kind of re-release they did of the last Lords of the Fallen, I think they called it Lords of the Fallen 2, but it wasn't really. It was like a re-release or something. But
2.5 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, like 2.5 or something. But I know people went crazy and people loved it. Like once they came back out. But the developer, I know at one point he was talking a lot of trash or something, and he got in a little trouble there when people were like, "Man, your game wasn't that good," So yeah, hopefully they pull it out. They obviously got the funding to keep going at it, and they feel like they got a solid idea. So hopefully it's really good for those people that really love Souls games.
Well, I thought when that Diablo 4 Lords of Hatred one popped up, if the demon hadn't have been there doing the intro, which Lee Keeley put a lot of time and effort into his production this year, and I appreciate him for that. But
the stage looked great.
It did. That looked, and the amount of taking the piss out of himself so much this year, it was brilliant. I thought that was, for me, that was one of the standout trailers of the day of the set. Because I'm a sucker for anything where you hook up a knight with a big ass shield and a big ass sword. I'm in for that every day of the week. But yeah, I thought that one was. I originally had that pegged for potentially a Lords of the Fallen, but yeah, I was surprised to see it come through as the Diablo one. So
Yeah, back to what you said about the production value, Falky. That is one. I mean, it's funny. I was thinking about the first award show. The award show has come a long way since the first 10 years ago. But the production values have this year were even like the stage and everything. It just like it's thinking about how where the award show came from to fast forward it 10 years now to where it is today, 2025. It looks like like something like I'm going to describe it. Maybe I don't want to say it's Oscar like the Oscars or anything, but it is a highly well produced award show now. It's like it looks like a legitimate award show, you know. And that's, you know, hats off to Keeley for putting on the work. You know, he says he often plans. It takes about a year to put it together. So yeah, got to give him his credit. And again, as I typically see every year, there are the folks out there that are conspiracy theorists that are saying that, oh, I know the award show's rigged, blah blah blah. And I'm like, guys, like, let's stop doing that, because if you look at the board of the advisory board for the award show, a lot of the companies and leaders from different gaming companies are part of the advisory board for the award show. So when I hear people put on their tinfoil hats and say, "Oh, it's rigged, it's this or that," it's like, guys, like, are you saying Phil Spencer's part of the cabal of the awards, the Game Awards show? He's part of the advisory board. Phil Spencer sits on the advisory board, as does Sony Interactive Entertainment, as does Epic Games, as does Doctor, and I forget her name, of AMD. She's part of the advisory board. As is, I believe, Tencent is also there. Who else?
So,
Ubisoft. Yeah.
So there's two distinctions. You've got an advisory board for the Game Awards, and you've got the voting jury. They're not the same thing. So you've got all the big heads of the big publishers and studios and platforms of gaming are involved as an advisory board to make sure that there's, you know, the full breadth is being maintained and it's not be seen as biased one way or the other. But the voting jury is made up of over 100 leading media and influencer outlets across the globe, of which 70% of that voting jury is owned by 2 publishing companies that are media companies. They all work semi-independently of each other, but if you keep an eye on, you know, what they're putting out in terms of their voting and whatnot for the year, you'll get a pretty good idea about where they're going to swing by the time they get to the end of the year. But it's no secret, and it's a pretty sizable panel from across the globe. But they just all, you know, the way that media companies work in that respect, print media and visual media and all that, none of them are related to any of the gaming platforms, but they all sort of roll up into being owned by, you know, two or three of the major publishing media publishing companies. But yeah, the reason why they kept separate is exactly what you were just saying there, BRAP. It's to make sure that there's representation across the whole breadth. But they don't work hand in hand, because those that are on the advisory board aren't the ones doing the voting.
Yeah, again, I just find every year, I mean, it's this narrative seems to pop up, and I just shake my head. I'm like, do the research, like, look at who sits on that advisory board, and then ask yourself the question: Are they all in cahoots? Like, why would it benefit Phil Spencer to allow, you know, because, you know, every year except for this year, you know, PlayStation didn't win an award. But had they won awards, they would, oh, you know, Keeley's bias against PlayStation. So again, I mean, look at this year. PlayStation was the most nominated of the publishers. Didn't win only won one award, and that was for the best adaptation in The Last of Us HBO season 2. But outside of that, they didn't win a specific video game award tied to a specific video game. And for so many years, people have been saying, "Oh, well, Keeley's on the take; he's pro PlayStation," and look what happened this year. So what's changed, right? And so it's just,
yeah.
It's
But
just,
can you imagine that Ghost of Yotei and Death Stranding 2, two of the most brilliant games that PlayStation has produced, full stop, end of story, and they got nothing. You sit there and you
they also ran Declare Expedition 33, which did very well last night. Which that's interesting, by the way, because a lot of people, I did see a lot of people online saying that, you know, kind of debating whether or not Claire Expedition is if it's a true RPG. Like I saw a lot of that dialogue today after the award show, and because I think Divinity.
That's probably one that Nate has got a really simple answer for that one. But I would just say if people want to get into an argument about what's an RPG,
Yeah, best
know,
RPG, best narrative, best art direction, best
Yeah.
score and music, best performance, Jennifer English, best game direction, best independent game, best debut indie game. I mean, it won multiple awards. I mean, it cleaned house with the the golden joystick. So I'm not surprised. I just find it interesting because Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was in there as
Yeah.
best RPG, and I don't know if it's an RPG purist type thing. And Nate, you could probably chime in on this as well, but I just think it's an interesting conversation, right? The debate about whether or
Well,
not
the tech,
Expedition
the tech,
33, yeah. You go ahead, Falky.
Yeah, I thought Falky
Oh,
was about to say something. So
yeah, sorry, my internet's being a pain today. All I was going to say was, if we want to get really, back to basics about what is an RPG, role-playing game, if you pick up a controller and you are controlling a character, which is 80% of video games, it is a role-playing game, just by pure simple definition of the 3 words involved. If you want to get any deeper than that, then it's only ever going to end up in tears and heartache, because you're trying to split hairs on a definition that it doesn't really matter, does it?
I mean, Falky, I will disagree with you there. I understand your point. I understand. Like, yes, you are playing the role of a protagonist, right? But I want to say, like, for me, as somebody who played Dungeons and Dragons as growing up, RPG a little bit more nuance to that than the definition you gave. But go ahead, Nate. You were going to chime in.
yeah, I mean, ultimately, man, it's not like I said. People need to whether people want to argue what exactly they think is an RPG, or not, right? How RPG are you is not the category, right? How many RPG elements do you have? It's not the category. It's best RPG. Now, just because your game has more RPG quote unquote elements doesn't entitle you to winning. Look, and the other thing, like, welcome to not winning, okay? Your game not winning. I've been there for years. Half the time, my game of the year isn't even nominated. Get over it. Like, the crying right now on Twitter is insane. Like, calling it not an RPG is even more insane. No, we're not doing that. Like, we're not gonna act like Final Fantasy ain't been here since the NES, and we're about to, try to retroactively correct history RPGs because they're not this specific RPG. Like, they're a bunch of people are under the impression that in order to be an RPG, you specifically must have choices in the game. That is not a requirement for your game to be labeled an RPG by the ESRB. That is not a thing. You may like that aspect. You may be a WRPG fan, which adopted those things. They tend to go the more, old school D&D-esque route. But at the same time, to be fair, right? D&D is its own thing. D&D is not a video game. Video games are their own things. Just because that started, there are some things that were adopted, that were translated over, that essentially became parts of RPGs. But there are lots of things that make up RPG elements, not just choices. Like, that's insane to me that people believe that a game, if it doesn't offer you 50 different options of choices, is not an RPG. That's crazy. Like, that is like saying so many titles that we have loved today, including games like Chrono Trigger, are not an RPG. That's insane. So yeah, that is where I have like a major issue with like the revisionist history that people are having a heart attack over, just specifically because this game didn't win, right? Now, I voted specifically I did vote for KCD2 to win that because I pretty much knew Expedition was going to sweep everything else. But I also don't care. Like, like it's not that serious, bro. Like some of my favorite RPGs lose that category all the time, or won't even voted. One of the highest rated JRPGs of the year, Trails in the Sky first, right? Didn't even get nominated, but Avowed was in there, which is like a 6.5 on a good day. Like, calm down. Like, I'm just like, I got so much heat for some of these people, bro. Like, I'm just like, get over it. Like, it's okay. All these games are RPGs. Again, you can like one more than the other. You can also agree that you think that KCD2 is the better RPG, right? No one's arguing against someone's opinion to feel how they want to feel about which one is the better one, but it's still lost. So I mean, it already happened. It's over. Like, crying about it for 40 days and 40 nights on Twitter is not going to change that. Jeff ain't about to retroactively change nothing. Um,
You
so
think Jeff should add a category as RPG and then deeper RPG or the deepest
Right?
RPG?
Yeah, deepest RPG. I was like, yeah, man, like that's not the thing. I was like, look, I'm gonna be real with you. If we call in something as shallow as Final Fantasy 16 an RPG, I'm definitely not about to not call all these other games RPGs. Like, we're not doing that. So I was like, no, I have been there. I have done that. I have played all the spectrums, and trust me, I go rounds about this way before this conversation hit an all time high over KCD2. Right? One of my homies is like the biggest Western RPG, you know, fanboy on the planet. Everything for him is, Bethesda, everything, this, that, and the third, everything. I play everything. He has started to do the same, and he sees the merit in all these things, even though he's still a Western RPG fanboy. And it's like, look, nothing wrong with you liking one, over the other. That's fine. But stating that this game isn't an RPG because it's missing one specific aspect or doesn't do it enough is absolutely crazy. But yeah, the people crashing out over this is insane, bro. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't totally disagree with you. I think it's just a matter of taste perspective, right? Like, look, does Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 have a deeper RPG system? Yes, absolutely it does. But I don't
Absolutely.
think that makes that takes away from Expedition 33 being an RPG. It's just a different flavor of RPG, right? Different types of
Exactly.
mechanic. Its core gameplay revolves around turn-based RPG combat. It's obviously, incorporating blended some different elements from different types of genres, like the quick time events during combat, or the dodging, parrying in real time, which I love, by the way. I think that is awesome that they incorporate some of those different elements, the QTEs, the parrying, and a lot of like the developer said, like, hey, we were inspired by some of these classic Japanese RPGs, like a Final Fantasy, Persona. I don't think we make arguments that those games aren't RPGs, but look, I
Exactly.
get it.
Until today, right?
What's it?
I said until today, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. But again, I get it. Like, people are fans of, and that's fair. Like, if you're a fan of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I just don't understand the anger, I guess, of that's not, now the narrative. Oh well, Claire Expedition 33 is not a real RPG.
Yeah,
Because
like that. And like, dude, look, trust me, like two of the people I trust the most, right? As far as their gaming opinions, literally loved both of those games. Somebody, and then a third person right before the show started, like a week or so, had just finished Kingdom Come, and it was the same thing. He loved it, and both the two girls that I'm talking about, they loved it. They loved both Expedition and Kingdom Come. The girls did eventually. They struggled for weeks, when I was like, so what do you like better? And they eventually gave the nod to Expedition. But at the same time, one of my friends is still fighting. They're like, I don't know, but KCD, like, so they loved both of them. They're both great. Like, they can both
look,
be fire games, and like, you don't even have to choose. You could play both of them. I
I
don't know why people act like we got to eviscerate
yeah
one if one won the award. Like, it's still there. It's
yeah
still hype. It's still sold a ton.
those two things could be true, that they're both great RPGs, right? It's not one or the other, because one has deeper RPG. Because I said earlier, like, we're discussing Divinity by Larian Studios, and I've played like think I've played Baldur's Gate 3 4 or 5 times. And look, Baldur's Gate 3, you know, a D&D RPG, right? Just deeper. And I don't look at Expedition 33. Oh my God, like it's not a real RPG in comparison to Baldur's Gate 3. Different experiences, right? Both RPGs, different flavors of RPGs. At least that's how I look at it. I think they're both great games. Both of those games are my games of you know, probably my top 2 games of this generation. Just fantastic.
And see, I agree with that, and I don't even really like KCD like that because I don't like the real sim aspects of it. Like some of the stuff that they
You
have
don't want
told
to
me
be forging your
that
own sword.
yeah, like some of the stuff
Knitting
they've told me that
your
they
own
get excited
underwear.
about. They're like, oh, the people smell you, and they're like, oh, you stink. You need to go take a shower,
Yeah,
and you know
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
threw their what do you call it, their chamber pot out the window and it landed on you.
Yeah.
Now you stink, and like all this other stuff, and they're like, oh, you suck at the sword 90% of the game because you didn't practice enough, and like again, none of these sound fun to me. But I'm like, cool if you like those things, which like I said, some of the people I trust literally 100%. That when they tell me something is fire, that's what it is. It's unquestionable. These two people in particular, and they loved it. And it's like, but I'm a person, right, where I could willingly accept that something is just not for me. And but I actually, unlike some of these people, by the way, because a lot of people complaining about Expedition haven't even played it. So like, I definitely don't want to hear nothing from them people. Like, not a word. Like, zip that.
Hey,
So
but
yeah, but
by
yeah,
the
go
way,
ahead.
Dave, I don't mean to interrupt, but because
Yeah,
um I try to wrap up here the next 30 minutes, but I do want to
absolutely.
I do want to mention something about Claire Obscure Expedition 30. Obviously did very well at the award show, won multiple awards. But I got to be honest with you, like when they opened up with the song the theme song for Claire Expedition 33,
Hmm.
I don't know, I got chills.
It was beautiful, man. And then the
It
Gomage
was,
hit.
yes, the
While
go.
they
I
were
mean,
singing, yeah, man.
like
Yeah,
it's
trust me,
just
we were all in chat watching it together, and we were like, "Man, this just brings it all back."
it does. It bring it, this is the one thing my takeaway from the award show, and I'd be interested to get everyone's takeaway before we move on to another topic. Actually, there's one more topic related to the Game Award show. You can see it on the screen here that I'm gonna get into, which I thought was kind of interesting. Um, but the one thing I take away every year from the Game Award show is that the industry, the creative spectrum, right, in which games exist, is something that people don't discuss enough. I've said it on the show before. We just don't. We don't have that conversation enough about how you have games like a Call of Duty, right? You have games like, and then you have a game like Expedition 33. And then you have, you know, games like you have games like I'm trying to think here. Like Orbitals, which was shown. You have games like Lords of the Fallen 2. You have all these smaller, like some of these smaller indie titles, right? Um, you have Phantom Blade Zero. They showed Mega Man Dual Override. Like just and then there was High Guard, which let's talk. We'll get to High Guard here in just a minute. But I think like my takeaway is just how the breadth, right, of creativity in the gaming space. It's amazing. It really is. I don't think it gets celebrated enough. And I will say this, I do think Keeley does a good job at presenting a variety of different types of games. And I think paying homage to the artistic vision or the different artistic visions that different studios have in the industry. So
Agreed. Agreed. But I also think, to your point, right? I think the big reason for that is the big problem that we point out all the time. Is that a lot of people who talk about games in this community or even in other podcasts don't really play enough games. Their palette is not wide enough. They haven't really experienced all that gaming has to offer. And a lot of them have either a shallow viewpoint or narrow viewpoint of gaming. So you can't really appreciate it when you've never been around to really experience it, to be
I
honest.
mean, and Nate, to your point, I mean, I played Death Stranding 2, right? Onboarded to Ghost of Yote after that, and then
Hmm.
onboarded to Dispatch. Now think about that. For those 3 games, vastly different games, right? Well,
Vastly.
I would say Yote may be a little more similar, kind of that open world sandbox, right? But different story, different character, not as quirky as Kojima, but anyhow, right? Um, and then I offboard to Dispatch, right? Or onboard to Dispatch, and Dispatch kind of more of a cinematic, I would say what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of in the vein of a Telltale game, you know, more of a cinematic adventure. Um, and that game was incredible. I mean, like Dispatch is one of my favorite games.
Yeah,
And it's completely different than Yote or Death Stranding 2. And then after Dispatch, I start playing Arc Raiders. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think to your point, Nate, like, not having that experience, having tried the different flavors. I think that, I think people, if they don't at least try, I think maybe maybe in some sense maybe lose that perspective, right?
Yeah.
You got to taste the
creative
rainbow,
spectrum.
surely.
Yeah,
Exactly.
which
Sorry,
some
guys.
people apparently were doing in that Divinity trail. Yeah.
Skittles. I'm very sorry. I have to head off.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
Yeah. No worries.
If you can decipher what I put in the chat, as regards to the Xbox subject we were going to talk to, have fun with that.
So let me ask you something, Falky. That is, you think that's a demotion? I look at this, and we'll get to. I just want to get your thoughts before you leave. I look at that as yeah, we're gonna enact some more fiscal discipline at ZeniMax.
What they're doing is they're getting him out of the way. Go over there where any decision you make gets reviewed by multiple people, and you can't cause any more damage because it will cost us more to sack you than it will to shift you. That's my harsh assessment of it. The guy that they're stepping up has got the better part of 7 years. What do we got? 7? Oh, he's got nearly 4
Falky,
years
I'm sorry,
working in
Falky,
that area.
Could you give us a few more minutes, or do you have to go now?
I've got to go. I had to go 5 minutes ago. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah, no worries.
But yeah, the guy that's stepping in there is effectively the stooge that's been watching the guy above him stuff up. And so he's now going to get promoted up to be the fall guy for whatever's about to happen. And they're shifting Cookie out of the way because he's either not wanting to do it or he can't do it. Make of that what you will.
All right.
Anyway,
well, Falky,
sorry, mate.
No worries. No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you joining us. Always a pleasure, Falky. We have to get you back on again soon.
Absolutely. All right. Keep safe and enjoy.
All right. See you, Falky.
See you, mate.
All right. Let me grab this super chat here. T-Rock with the $5 super chat says, "Forget an RPG. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is the only true debate." Oh my god. So I would say yes. A hot dog is a sandwich. Yeah. So real quick at 8. I do want to go to. So let me ask you before we get to this last trailer here. Actually, before we get to this trailer, give me a sec here. The final announcement of the night was High Guard. It's a new first-person shooter, right? It's from a team of former Apex Legends developers. The studio is called Wild Light Entertainment. Game is set to launch January of next year. I forget what they opened with, but something like, this isn't like your typical shooter, or this is what did they? I don't want to play the trailer because I wasn't really interested in it. Maybe I should, though. Hold on a second.
You should play the trailer so people can understand, because people might have missed it. I mean, it was at the very end, so.
I just see. I thought that game should have been announced at the beginning, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that game should have been announced at the pre-show.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. or have like Divinity announced, right? Because at that point, like, everyone knew the cat's out of the bag. Then maybe shift and have Divinity to open up the show, right? That cinematic trailer, and then High Guard somewhere sprinkled in there, maybe in the middle. But at the end, I was just like, yeah, I don't know about this one, Keely. I don't know about High Guard. I would have preferred my preference, and I think that you end that show with a bang with something like Star Wars, Fate of the Old
I agree.
Republic.
But there was I felt like there were a couple games that could have even been included at the end that still would have been better than that, like that were
Mhm.
shown during it, right? Like, I mean, you showed the new Warhammer stuff. You know, brought out the Stranger Things guy, like that was lit. You know, like there's quite a few things that kind of took place in the middle that were still cool. I mean, heck, I would have even taken Tomb Raider at the end, like the double announcement Tomb Raider. Like it still would have been better than that.
And High
You
Guard.
know, yeah, like Highgard, like I remember, like and this stood out to me, of course, because I mean, I was talking to Gene Park earlier on the timeline. He was catching smoke because he said that he thought it looked good, and I was like, look, man, you
Big shout out to G Park.
yeah, Gene is hilarious, bro. Like I was like, bro, you had a different time in life apparently because we saw two very different things. It don't look interesting to me, but if it look interesting to you, I'm not gonna give you smoke. But yeah, that was not how you end. Like I think the reaction of the crowd just being absolutely silent after that tells you everything.
Well, I mean, let's think about it. Like you get Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic as the opener. If I'm in the crowd, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, this is the opener. If this is the opener, like what's the last thing they're going to show us?
That's exactly what I said. I was like, oh, they're going to go big.
Yeah,
we're
we're gonna get like I don't know, like a new Gears trailer or some kind of I don't know, something big, right? We're gonna get we're gonna get a new Sony game or something like
I was like,
something
yeah,
big,
PlayStation's
right?
about to step out on stage and be like, one more thing. Like I was like, or something, man. But then he was like, he went into the ending, and I was like, oh, he's serious. That was actually it. Like, I was like, man.
Hey, Nate, I want to bring something up before we get to this trailer. South of Midnight, big shout out to Compulsion Games. They won. They took home the award for Games for Impact. And I gotta say, like, it was a bit odd, just weird. I thought, like, clearly the person up there is emotional, excited, right? Doing the acceptance speech, and in that acceptance speech, she says, "By the way, our game's coming to PlayStation, Nintendo Switch too." I'm like, that is so tacky. Like, this is like that is the most tackiest thing I think I've seen in a video game awards acceptance speech. She's literally up there, right? Accepting this award. It kudos to Compulsion. South of Midnight's a solid game, right? I think it's one of the better games that Xbox Studios has released this year, and that's how they end the acceptance speech. Like, I just thought that was tacky.
So I mean, I get what you're saying, but I also get why they did it. Like only because, like, if you're in a position and you got to sell games. Like they did make the announcement right before the show. So it was announced already that it was coming to both those platforms. And when you keep in mind the statistic for the Game Awards last year, that it was the single most watched award show, if you want to get people's attention, you say it then. So that's the only reason I kind of get why they did it. Because it's like because we know how the marketing budget is at Xbox. It's non-existent.
This just seems par for the course for Xbox these days, and it's like, I put out a tweet about it, like, you can't make this up, and I think I got like 170,000 views on Twitter. I'm like, okay, guys, people are upset, like, oh, you console warring. I'm like, no, I just think it's tacky. I'm sorry, I just feel like I thought it was out of bounds. Like this should be, in my opinion, this acceptance speech should be about the it should be about the studio, right? The teams. The public, and thanking the fans, and it became an infomercial at the end.
Yeah,
I thought it was tacky.
I mean, I thought she was like, I mean, I really felt the speech though.
The great speech.
She was,
but at the end there it's kind of weird. She's like, she's emotional. She's like, and by the way, it's coming to back. I'm like, what? Like, what just happened?
I mean, when your job depends on it,
The corpos were like. Yeah. The corporate tapped her on the shoulder, like, "Yeah, you're gonna go out there. You're gonna let everyone know this game's coming on PlayStation."
Exactly. They shot her that text before that speech and was like, "Hey, you know what time it is, right?" She
got a wink from somebody from Xbox in the crowd, like, "Hey, now you gotta drop that that nugget of information.
Exactly.
But I
We
think I
put
just
no
think
more
that
marketing behind this. Make it happen.
yeah, I mean, but I honestly I think it's just a sign of the times with Xbox. I mean,
I agree.
one of the things I didn't have as a topic was Black Friday. They didn't offer any Black Friday deals, and they'd even cracked top 3 in Circana for Black Friday retail sales. It was PlayStation being number 1 for Black Friday, Nintendo Switch 2 being number 2, and then the Amazon, I forget what it's called, this Amazon Connect like device was number
Yeah,
3.
X or
So
whatever.
yeah, so it beat out the Xbox in the UK. And in the US, Circana reported 47% of hardware sales were PlayStation. And if you look at like the, I think it's is it GFD? I forget the retail data tracker. The UK, 67% of sales uh, were PlayStation and Xbox. It's like they're not even. I think like look, and I just say this just to level set expectations here. Hardware's just not important for them anymore. It's just not.
No, I don't think so.
And again, we're going to talk about the big shakeup of leadership at Xbox. But again, like I'm hearing again this it's rearing its ugly head it's not just quote unquote insiders, but people in the media that cover Xbox that are saying, yeah, like that some people in media think that they still might cut the hardware division and go a different direction. And I'm like that's not going away. Like this is we talk again. I'm not saying I know people are going to freak. Oh my God, you talk about that. No, what I'm saying is these are the things I'm hearing. I'm not saying that these things have been corroborated. We don't know if it's true or not. But you keep hearing these things, and it sounds the nature of which these things are coming about, right? About hardware, eerily similar to what I was hearing about their first party games going multi-plat. Again, time will tell, and I'm not saying it's 100% true, but it seems like that, right?
Yeah.
And at the very least, I'm hearing, yeah, this might be the last time, and it's probably more of a hybrid. And then after that, it's done. But and I hear the hybrid is more of a way to kind of appease, to slowly, get people used to the idea that Xbox is no longer be associated to a piece of hardware per se. But anyhow, I didn't mean to go in that rant there, Nate. But
I understand why you went there.
All right, so where were we? The compulsion thing I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah, let's play this trailer here for High Guard.
I'm not gonna lie, at this part I was a little excited.
And Nate, so I'm not gonna lie too. When I saw this, I was like, "Oh shit, they're about to drop a banger on us, right?" I know. I mean, look at that interest, like the water, the waves, right?
Yeah, the setup was immaculate. I was like, "Oh yeah,
oh yeah." I'm like, "Oh, this is
looking
right?
Elder Scrolls 7." Like, oh man, we're about to go crazy.
You know what? Actually, it's funny you say. I actually thought I was like, "Is this a new Elder Scrolls? Like, are we getting this already? Like, what's?" No, I thought that.
Yeah.
We go ahead and play it.
Sometimes our last reveal at the Game Awards is a teaser for something years and years away. Not tonight. Our final world premiere comes from 61 members of the team that built Apex Legends and Titanfall. 4 years ago, the principals founded a new independent studio with the hopes of pushing the shooter.
He clearly works for the studio, by the way.
He was so excited.
He was high because he knew he's like he works there. Yeah.
I didn't hear that during the live stream, but yeah, that was hilarious.
That was pretty funny.
Genre forward with a new original game. They've done it.
Hold on.
Original game. Shooter genre forward with the hopes of pushing the shooter genre forward with a new original game.
Hopes of pushing the genre forward with a new game. That's tough.
Yeah, he was really.
They've done it in complete.
Yeah, he was.
Secrecy, which is even more amazing because the game is very deep into development. The power of independent, self-published studios to push this medium forward is a growing and I think positive theme in our industry. And so tonight, you're not only going to get the announcement of the game, but also your first look at the gameplay. I've played it, and after you see this trailer, I think you're going to want to as well. Welcome to Highguard.
Into lands uncharted and dangers untold. I venture without fear and ride without rest. For coin or for cause, I fight to the end.
Bringing the heat. In the heat. Here we go.
All right, here we go. Comes a new breed, right, of shooter.
You mean Overwatch clone 47th try?
I mean, looks again, hero shooter. Looks like Overwatch.
Shooter.
I just that's such a I don't know. There we go. Comes a new breed of shooter. When they said that, I just feel like that. I feel like that sets like an unrealistic expectations on the game or for the game, right? Like I just feel like people are gonna look at this and be like, okay, this thing's gonna be like if this thing doesn't live up to be a new breed of shooter, unfortunately, people are just gonna tear it down, right? Unless it's got a great gameplay loop, great mechanics, you know. But at least when I'm seeing it, I don't see how it looks like a new breed of shooter.
Yeah, me neither.
All right, let's just play this.
Bringing the heat.
Your light belongs to me.
Moving in for the attack.
Shield breaker forming. Blade out.
Strike fast. Siege tower coming in.
The enemy is on gate. I'm coming for you.
Marking baddies from above.
It's my turn. I am the coming storm. I am a warden, and this is my oath.
I don't know. I mean, look, I'm not into like hero shooters. I mean, it's not for me, but I don't know. Again, I wouldn't have.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
Yeah.
would look at that trailer, and this is coming from someone who doesn't even play Marvel Rivals. I would look at that trailer. He could have said it was coming out tomorrow, and if you would have told me, and Nate, you can either play that or you can play Marvel Rivals, I'm gonna load up Marvel Rivals immediately, and I don't even play that game.
No,
That-
I don't know.
and that's the problem though. It's like if you're showing me something, and by the way, the thing that they tried to do, I hate when they always try to do this in multiplayer trailers. They try to give the single player feeling, the like the stuff that happens in like Uncharted, the big set pieces, and talk in a really deep voice, you know, and now we will take the fight to them. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
that doesn't make it cooler, bro. Like, it's still, I'm
No.
still seeing the footage that's happening in front of me that looks like Overwatch 3.5. Like,
In a
like
world unknown.
exactly. like they act like the narrator voice is just gonna make it super epic, and I'm all in. Like, it's like, no, I can still see
I
the
mean,
trailer.
it reminds me of Overwatch. I don't know. I'd like actually I played Overwatch when it first came out. I liked it for a little bit and then just got tired of it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, these types of games not for me. I don't know. It just looks like them saying whatever it was
A new breed of shooter.
a new breed of shooter. I'm like, is it really though? Like it did look like a
That's
new
what I
breed of
said. I was
shooter.
like, new.
Yeah, a new breed of shooter. I mean, that's just I don't know.
Yeah, Jeff is a good hype man, though, man. I should get him to do my birthday party or something.
No, he was he was hyped. You know, I
You ain't never turned 30 like this before.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, there was one more reveal that they showed, and again, like it's tradition is become tradition with the Game Awards. The Game Awards does introduce music, film as video games have transcend media now with music and film, television, movies. Evanescence was actually one of the musical acts there because they had a song that was tied to Devil May Cry, the anime series on Netflix. But we also got to see of a real trailer of Street Fighter. And look, I was around for the original Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme, if you remember that.
Oh yeah,
I liked what I saw. I like when I initially saw this. I'm like, oh, look, this looks cool, right? It looks like
I agree. They did a good job putting all the cool people in it that I like. So I was like, I'll probably like Star Power normally doesn't work on me anymore because I'm like, it's usually one person, but they just grabbed everybody. So I was like, you know what?
They literally grabbed everyone. They had 50 cents in this game. You have Cody Rhodes in WWE, Roman Reigns, Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa is huge, and I'm like, you know what? I could see Jason Momoa now showing up at WWE and that becoming a thing, which I don't want to see. But yeah, I don't know. I would play the trailer because I watched it again this morning. I wasn't as hyped watching it the second time as I was last night. So let me play this real quick. You know what, Nate? I don't know. I'm hyped for it again now.
He said, you know what? I'll second thought.
It was the music. I think I believe was that the Beastie Boys?
I think so. But yeah, it's the combination of the music and the little quirks of all the moves from it. The you win at the end, and
you
all
win.
that stuff. Yeah, they're learning to stick to the things that made us love the games at least when they do some of these adaptations.
I don't know about that. I don't know about the actor for M. Bison though. I don't know about that.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, man. It looks all right. Like, I'm more so the guy that I can't remember his name right now, but I just followed him on Twitter a bit ago. But the one that's playing Ryu, but I can't remember his name right now. But yeah, he's just like a general awesome dude. So, and it's like, really into martial arts and stuff in real life and stuff. So, I just think I think they tapped a lot of cool people. Is it going to break records? And I don't think so. I'm not even sure. Like, my nieces and nephews probably barely know what Street Fighter is at this point. Um, so yeah, I don't think it's going to go crazy, but I think enough of us will go see it. Depending on what else is out at that time, I think they just got to be careful on that release window. Um, but yeah, I mean, it looks good. At the worst, I'll watch it on the OLED on a night when I'm bored. You know what I'm saying, and spark it up. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they find that market, man. Because
You
like
see,
you said, they tapped a lot of people for this. So
yeah, Jason Momoa is Blanca. 50 Cent is Barlog. Um, Roman Reigns is Akuma. What's his name? Cody Rhodes is it's Guile. So yeah, I don't know, man.
He actually looks kind of small as Guile in the movie. I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of interesting because on the stage last night he looks huge, but in the movie as Guile in like the
Jason
2
Momoa
seconds
looked
they
huge.
showed him, he looks small. Yeah, Jason
Yeah.
Momoa looked huge though. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man. It's gonna be interesting. I hope they nail it. It's tough to do these right, specifically movies, right? Like we've definitely had better results with adaptations as far as TV shows go. Um, just giving you more time to flesh out the story, more time to really kind of explain things and set the tone. But then Street Fighter is also not known for its story, right? It's a big tournament, essentially, and so trying to turn that into a movie is also a struggle, as opposed to something like how amazing the Fallout, the Fallout franchise has been turned into a TV show, which should
By
be
the way,
coming back
Fallout,
out.
yeah,
Soon.
Monday, yeah, this is coming Monday, December 15th. Fallout season 2. Fallout season 1 was it was so good,
It
incredible.
was amazing.
Yeah, it really was. It was really good. Um, but yeah, I do want to pivot here, Nate, to the big shakeup over Xbox. Xbox leadership. There's some changes happening here. By the way, this is an article, Windows Central, by Samuel Tolbert. By the way, for those who've been listening to BRAP for many, 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 many years, if you've been a BRAP listener, you may remember the name Samuel Tolbert. Sam Tolbert was actually I can't even talk today, former BRAP panel member back in 2000. I think he was a panel member between 2016, 2017. So big shout out to Sam. Great to see Sam continue his passion of covering games and writing about games. He did that for another gaming website when he was part of the BRAP panel. But yeah, big shout out to Sam Tolbert. So this is an article by Sam Tolbert. The article reports that Tim Stewart will be Chief Operating Officer of ZeniMax in 2026, with Xavier Porkinski, I can't pronounce the last name, Porzinski, stepping into the role of Microsoft CEO. Porzinski's been at Microsoft for quite some time. So you heard Fauci's thoughts with about Tim Stewart. Felt like it's kind of more so of a demotion of Tim Stewart to from the if you want to call it a holding company, I guess, Xbox to ZeniMax Media. I look at this though a little bit slightly different than Fauci. Maybe a demotion, but I think more so of, hey, like we're going to enact some cost controls here, and him being chief operating officer, he's going to oversee a lot of the operational stuff. He has a finance background, so he's going to be looking at the numbers. He's a bean counter. But I'm also hearing that this might not be the only shakeup. Again, I'm not going to say who might be next, but there could be some other major shakeups coming up. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe we will learn more in January. Again, nothing's been corroborated here. Just things that I've been hearing. Again, not saying some people get upset. Yeah. No, just I'm not saying it's going to happen. Just saying that there could be some more changes coming. We'll have to wait and see if those changes, in fact, do happen. But I did hear a while back that there were some changes that were going to come to some of the leadership at Xbox, and Tim Stewart being the first of what I had previously heard. So So sources tell Windows Central that Tim Stewart, the chief financial officer, I think I know who the source is for this one. Central that Tim Stewart, the chief financial officer of Microsoft Game, will be stepping into a new role as chief operating officer for ZeniMax Media, the publisher responsible for Bethesda Softworks published titles as Doom, Elder Scrolls, Fallout. Replacing Stewart as overall CFO of Microsoft Gaming is Xavier Porkinski, who currently works as corporate vice president of Microsoft Gaming. The change is expected to be effective starting January 2026. This news comes after a strange year for Xbox and Microsoft Gaming as a whole. The company launched numerous critically acclaimed games, several of which topped the sales charts in the U.S., including Bethesda Softworks, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. At the same time, the company is also seeing continued mass layoffs, multiple games being canceled, numerous developers being cut. I think there's probably going to be more. I think there might be more cuts, Nate. We've talked about that a while back, that there could be some more budgetary cuts, and some of that was had to do with that 30% profitability margin that is being placed on the Xbox division now. I will also say this. I think that I was having a conversation with Logic today, and Logic had mentioned that the new Call of Duty had lost about half of its player base, Black Ops 7. And so I think when you think about spending $80 billion and you see that, right, and player loss, and I know people are going to be like, well, it's still the no one play game. I get that, but doesn't negate the fact that it's lost 50% of its player base. But
I was like, that's a lot of revenue loss.
Well, I mean, and so that is probably, I would imagine that is even amplified or magnified even more when you've spent 60 something billion to acquire that that publisher, that group to pick up Activision, right? And you think about the 30% profit margin. You look at what they've done with Hero Down There says, and shitified game dies. But you think about what the strain that puts on the business, right? And you look how they treated hardware during Black Friday, right? They're not even trying to sell hardware. They didn't even put any kind of deal out there. It's why the Xbox hardware did so poorly during Black Friday, which is the biggest retail, one of the biggest retail days.
What you're telling me is that Quick Resume didn't change the game? I can't believe it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, and I don't want to get too and then Call of Duty, they're not. Yeah, and then they came out and they said, Activision came out and said, like, hey, we're listening to you, we're listening to our fans. We're no longer going to release a Black Ops game back to back or consecutive years. We're not going to release a Modern Warfare game in consecutive years, which I thought was kind of an interesting statement. But changes are coming.
I mean, they don't have a choice, right? Like I told people, I was like, you want a company to make the moves they're supposed to, you start affecting their wallet, like that cash flow. Like that's the only thing they understand. Like, and this comes from years and years of us doing this, right? Like Destiny was the same way. When I quit Destiny 2 for all the things they weren't doing and just literally doing the opposite of what the fan base wanted, guess what happened? A bunch of changes started happening that people had been asking for months or years. Quality of life changes, things that weren't subjecting people to, be basically focusing entirely on streamers who played the game for a living, and so on and so forth. And it's like now that same thing is coming down the pipeline for Call of Duty, right? We saw the initial messaging, which of course they haven't done it entirely yet. They thought they could kind of slide through and get away with it, but they were supposed to do the complete removal of skill-based matchmaking, and a number of other things. But that's not it alone, right? One of the other things that people forget, and it's like people wouldn't get it if you haven't played, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, the originals, Black Ops 1, people wouldn't get what's changed a lot. Like one of the things that I used to explain to people when I was personally taught how to play, right? because I wasn't like an FPS person like that. Like when I first started Modern Warfare 2, the original, I was terrible at the game. Like I couldn't get 5 kills in a row, and that's what But I was eventually taught how to play the game based on the way that they used to do it, and what they used to do was called clean 3-lane map design. And there were always, no matter the map, no matter how it looked, no matter what you were on, and these are the favorite maps to this day, by the way. This is why they keep bringing them back, because they keep designing them in a different way, and no one likes it because they're not clean. There's a bunch of hidey holes and a bunch of things. It's not creating a competitive environment. What you want to happen, if anybody who has been in a competitive environment, you want engagement with the other person to be heads up, right? Like you shouldn't be getting shot from 600 yards away off of a balcony somewhere. That's Battlefield, right? But or the newer, keep your head on a swivel, Warzone. But Call of Duty was all about that pure engagement, making the engagement fun, and making each other highly visible and like heads up, who's got the best skill when we match up toe to toe, and you win, right? Like you go for it. But they made a bunch of changes over the years that frustrated a lot of players. I think you've talked about it, or it's either you or I think both of y'all have talked about it. But you and what's the name, Forte, have talked about how terrible it is to play with slow mo, because slow mo's skill level in FPS games is astronomical. So it just drags you kicking and screaming with slow mo into these insane lobbies because of skill based matchmaking, regardless of yours. Because I keep telling people there's no such thing as a perfect balance, right? But what used to happen in Call of Duty when you used to play the old stuff was it was kind of like the Wild West. You didn't know who you were going to match up against. I'd match up against super, super skilled people. I'd match up against some people I'd stomp. It was all over the place. And that's what kind of made it fun, right? That's what multiplayer is about, is this unknown entity on the other end. But if you're just in the same sweaty matches with the same 12 people, who are constantly trying to hunt you down, it's not fun. Like they're losing certain aspects of it. And now it's biting them, right? For several reasons. The whole introduction with putting it into Game Pass, making it easy to just quit and drop the game. You had no real investment in the game. So you're not trapping people through this 100% buyer's remorse anymore, where people feel they need to play the game, they need to get their money out of the game, etc. Like there's so many different avenues that's happening right now that's allowing people to kind of come away from the game, and kind of reset and really look at it in the way they should have been looking at it for a long time. That's having that player drop effect, right? But part of that is also the competition, right? People thought Call of Duty was too big to fail, and I keep telling people no one is too big to fail. The right thing just hasn't happened yet. The right formula, right? So you had a combination of things where they screwed up, then you had Battlefield do really good, and then you had several other titles do really good, right? So now the trickle down effect is when you're the worst one in the bucket, despite you being the of the aforementioned unstoppable force prior. Well, now your unstoppable force is essentially cut in half, right? And most people are not going back to it. I know people who were COD crazy, like up to 3 or 4 years ago, that I haven't seen Call of Duty on their timeline at all. And I know they have Game Pass, and it's not. So it's like it doesn't even cost them anything, and they're not playing it. They're playing a lot of the indie games that we talk about, or a lot of AA games, and all these other games, or jumping into Battlefield 6 and trying that interest there, right? But they're doing everything but playing Call of Duty, and they should be concerned about that. Like you said, as someone who invested heavily in that studio, largely because of that title and what that title generates. So yeah, hopefully they take it seriously, man, because they need a serious reset.
Well, it almost seems like a perfect storm of sorts, right? Like, and that 50% number is coming from like player count, for Black Ops 6 versus Black Ops 7.
Mhm.
Black Ops 6 last year to Black Ops 7 this year. So that's where that 50% drop is coming from. And it's almost like I wonder if this is like a perfect storm of sorts, where it's like, okay, we released Black Ops in consecutive years. Perhaps that caused some fatigue, but you also have Battlefield 6, which has done very well, right? Then you also have Arc Raiders, which kind of, I don't want to say it kind of came out of nowhere. At least I think it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I would give it the came out of nowhere award.
But look, I mean, Arc Raiders has done fairly well, and then Battlefield 6. So you have these games that could be potentially siphoning the attention away from Black Ops 6, right? Where people may have that fatigue and say, I don't want to play this. I played Black Ops 6 last year. No, I'm in Black Ops 7. They're fatigued with Black Ops 7 because of the consecutive release of the Black Ops series. So, but I was just thinking, just kind of spitballing here and thinking that, like, if you lose 50% of your player count, like, I would imagine that the optics of that are probably magnified because of that 60 or $70 billion investment you made in purchasing ABK. And if you think about the push to AI, and that I've heard investors not necessarily being happy internally with that $70 billion investment in a gaming division that makes up single digits percentage of revenue for Microsoft, when that money could have been invested into the big AI push that Microsoft is pursuing at the moment, right? So yeah, I mean, I think in some of the things that I'm hearing, there's probably, again, more changes. I think Stewart is one of the. I guess what I'm trying to say is I wouldn't be surprised if Tim Stewart's movement, if there are any other moves within Xbox leadership, and it's interesting too because I think one of the things that when I thought about ZeniMax is that they had some autonomy, I thought. And I think that just given, Stewart's prior positioning at Microsoft Gaming at CFO and, working with Amy Hood, I think some of that autonomy is disappeared now because of, of Tim Stewart's connection to Microsoft corporate in the work they did prior. So, I think that this is, I think this kind of undermines some of that studio independence potentially that that ZeniMax, I think, probably had prior to this change in leadership.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll try something, but I mean, they definitely want to be careful as far as ZeniMax goes. I feel like they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do for the most part. I mean, again, I'm not really into these titles, but I know several people that are. The Elder Scrolls Online is still holding really strong. They generate plenty for what they cost, and so does Fallout 76. I know several people, including my neighbor that moved recently. He was super into Fallout 76, and we were talking about the big dedicated community going on with that. So I definitely think they're doing what they should do for the most part. Some parts of it maybe not, right? I personally, I don't know how you feel about Doom that came out. That's one thing. I personally, I don't know what id's gonna do going forward. Like, I think it's definitely time for Doom to take a break. So hopefully they have an original idea. It's kind of the trouble with some of these studios that have done one thing well for a long time. The other original title that they had when they did part 2, I can't remember the name. Rage. They had Rage. Rage 1 was like okay. And then you got Rage 2. So it's like there are parts of ZeniMax that I could definitely see either basically coming under fire, kind of what you were saying, tighten things up. But yeah, they definitely want to be careful with that investment, basically just because I think that's going to pay some serious dividends with Bethesda going forward. But like us both being fans of kind of what they do, we know how long that takes and how much investment that takes. I think they're doing a lot better personally than the investment as far as Activision Blizzard is going. I feel like the majority of that kind of get back for the Activision Blizzard was a lot of the cuts that happened that we talked about were going to happen, right? And they just kept coming, right? So I feel like that's where a lot of that has come from. A lot of that operating costs being cut. But yeah, like if you're not generating the revenue that you should based on the purchasing costs, I think to me that's the bigger drain more than anything. I know the whole COO thing with him moving over with ZeniMax looks interesting. And like you said, being operational, what that job entails will typically tighten things up. But yeah, I think they'll be safe. I think they'll be okay for the most part. I think they've already cut who they wanted out of that. Um, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Call of Duty and Activision Blizzard over the years. They do obviously they are still a big money maker because it's not just Call of Duty. You got people who can't quit World of Warcraft to save their life. Um, so that's still generating money. You still have Diablo's about to launch a new expansion. Again, I like successful enough for them to just keep doing it. Um, but yeah, it just doesn't look like they're gonna get that big cash jump that's gonna make, like you said, that big billion, several $1 billion, almost, $70 billion purchase really worth it anytime soon, no matter what they really do. And you don't want to cut off the cash flow because you want your money back. So you got to be careful how much you cut at the same time. So I think they're just in a weird, precarious position where they do definitely have to depend on their competition. The previous Call of Duty was like 85% of its sales was on PlayStation. Um, so I think when you start to drop the way that you have, like I don't know, man, it's kind of rough. Uh, and like I said, it goes to show that, like you said, with the perfect storm of all these different things kind of happening, I warn people like COD is not undefeatable, but I always told people the thing that's going to defeat Call of Duty is itself. Like it's going to basically keep doing the same things and keep running the same failed routes. For I know you love your football. Why would you keep running the ball up the middle if it's just having diminishing returns, right? While everybody else's passing game is going crazy, you know. So it's like that's basically what they were doing the whole time. And they were like, well, enough people are not gonna leave. Keep doing the running game. It's all good. And then now we here, right? So that's how I feel
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I might do another BRAP rant maybe this weekend to do a bit more of a deep dive because this broke a few hours ago, and so I want to pull some more threads on this. But look, I want to thank everyone in the live chat for coming by and hanging out with us this Friday evening. Again, not our regularly scheduled BRAP. Had a scheduled conflict on Wednesday, but we will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And actually, this worked out because we got to discuss the Game Awards show. But do the YouTube thing. Hit the like button. If you do, consider subscribing. Thank you, Mass Produce. It's great stream as usual. But yeah, hit the like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. Hit the bell notification. Thank you all for the super chats as well. And big shout out to Falky, who joined us for about an hour and a half and had to fortunately leave. But always great to have him on the show. And I want to thank Nate as well. Nate, always a pleasure. By the way, I love your gaming setup. Always, it's just awesome. It's so cool.
No, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it was fun coming through and having fun. Shout out to my brother in the chat because he was here the whole time. He's never heard the show. It was just like it was a series of events. He called me right before the show, and I was like, "Oh, I'm about to go live. Like, I can't. Like, what is it?" But we got together and got my mom a dishwasher for Christmas, like this new top.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she was going.
Did you get her a Bosch? That was I think Bosch is like one of the high tier dishwashers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know which one it was. He could probably tell me in the chat. I mean, he's over there. But yeah, it looked nice. It's almost $1,000, but it was on sale for like 300. So we jumped in, yeah, and then we got the full installation package. Where they come and install it.
They come and install it,
and the whole thing. So yeah, she was like, my mom. Of course, she didn't know, and she was like, "Oh," she goes, "Oh, you knew about it?" I was like, "What you mean not know about it? I paid on it. Like what you talking about?"
Yeah, exactly.
So she was excited. So I was like, "Look, it was worth the effort." Mom's is happy for the holidays. Now it's time to wrap up the rest of these presents and get back to these games. I'm about to get back to Octopath Traveler 0.
Nice.
Oh, he said
nice.
It's an LG. It's an LG dishwasher.
LG. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Nate, again, always a pleasure. Thank you again. And look, we'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. May do a BRAP rant this weekend. Got to see what my schedule looks like. But again, thank you everyone for watching the show. Please let us know in the comments section below what you thought about the Game Awards show as well. Interested in getting everyone's feedback on the show and what games what your most anticipated games are out of the Game Awards show, and what your favorite trailers were too. On that note, we're out. Everyone, enjoy the rest of the evening. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next time.